Hey everyone, welcome to another patch notes reading. This video will be coming out a few hours after Burnt Horizon has already launched, but I wanted to go through the patch notes like I normally do and give you guys some information. Normally I would do this before the operation launches, but I didn't really have time this time around, so instead I'm doing it the day of. So first up in the patch notes, if you for some reason haven't watched my recent videos on the TTS and the pre-release, we have the two new operators, both from Australia. We have first up on attack, Big Ronda, also known as Gridlock. She is a 3 armor, 1 speed, and she is a beefy motherfucker. She has two guns, the F90 and the M249. Now the M249 is not the exact same as the one Capitao has. This is a slightly different variant. It has a different ACOG scope, which looks pretty similar to what Cade and Nomad's pistol looks like. Almost the exact same thing except for some added circles. And it also has a 60 round mag instead of a 100 round belt feed loop, whatever you want to call it. It reloads almost as fast as Ying's LMG and does the exact same damage and has the exact same stats as Capitao's LMG. So it's basically a lower ammo count but faster reload time and better scope. Although Capitao was supposed to get this scope, I don't think he'll be getting it this season. And they have two secondary weapons. This is shared between both Big Ronda and Mozzie. They have the Super Shorty shotgun, which is basically just the ITA-12S shotgun, but a little bit stronger and less ammo. It has a 3 ammo count. That's the max you can have in there. And it does about the same destruction. So it's another secondary shotgun on defense or attack. And they also have the SCP 9mm pistol, which I never actually really got to try, but I've heard is fairly good. For secondary gadgets, she has breaching charges and smoke grenades, and that's about it. But really, most of the time you should be taking smoke grenades, let's be honest. Now, for her unique ability, which we haven't really talked about, is the track stingers. Basically, she has this canister in her hand, she throws it down on the ground, and it drops 19 of these little traps. It'll slowly deploy, and the defenders can't stop it by destroying the canister. So if you destroy the canister early, not many tracks will go down. But what it basically does is the same thing that barbed wire does on defense, is that it slows down the defenders, but it'll also hurt them. It does 10 damage per tick as you're walking over it. And if I'm not mistaken, it slows you down just as much as barbed wire. In order to destroy them, all you gotta do is shoot them. It takes 1 bullet each, or you can use an impact or shotgun or explosive to do widespread damage, but then you'll be hurt. I know I normally don't give my impressions during the patch notes, but since I did get to play these operators pretty early, I will say one or two things. I think that Big Ronda is going to be very, very impactful in the post-plant meta. Because currently, for the most part, attackers can plant, and then they're just kind of stuck watching. Whereas with Big Ronda, you can plant, throw down all your tracks, and then just wait to hear all the tracks hurting them or being shot, and then peek. This makes the defenders either have to hold an angle on the window or door wherever you are, while also taking damage from the tracks, or having to look down and shoot them while you can peek them and kill them. So I think it'll be really good for post-plant. But enough about Big Ronda, we'll move on to Mozzie. This young fella, he is a 2-2. 2 armor, 2 speed. And he has 2 guns, the P10 Ronda, and the Commando 9. The P10 Roni is essentially, based on what the photo looked like, it's a pistol with a weird case on it that turns it into a machine gun or some shit. It's basically like an SMG-11 with 20-ish bullets, or 19 bullets, I think, I can't remember. Then we have the Commando 9, which is kind of your standard defender weapon with a really unique reload animation, which is kind of the only reason people choose it. Personally, I prefer the P10 Roni, but I haven't really tried it too much. And again, he has the same secondary weapons. For secondary gadgets, he has barbed wire and nitrous cell. And then, let's talk about his gadget a little bit. So he has a pest launcher. He basically has this tiny little crossbow, which he can shoot a spider-looking thing on a surface. And if a drone walks within its range, the pest will jump on the drone and take it over. And then Mozzie then has access to the drone, and the attackers lose all access to it. Mozzie can drive the drone around like normal, the only thing is it can't go outside. So I think he'll be the biggest change in the defensive meta in a long time. I think he might actually be somewhat close to on par with Mira for impact on the defense meta. At first, I really did not like him too much. I didn't think he would be too impactful, but realizing at the higher ranks, he's going to be crazy, crazy good. His only real counter is Dokkaebi. If Dokkaebi hacks cameras, she'll be able to see all the drones that Mozzie has taken over. However, they still can't use them. They're still completely locked out. So Mozzie will be incredibly, incredibly good for intel, especially in the higher ranks where people actually know how to use drones. So moving on, we have the new map Outback, which is, a lot of people have been describing it as a mix between Oregon and Clubhouse, which I think is a fairly good description. It has 3 different areas. You have the garage, and then you have the restaurant, and then the hotel. They all have their own colors, so it's kind of easy to tell them apart. The only thing I don't like about the map is that everywhere you look, there's always something there. And that's the best way I can describe it. You're looking down a hallway trying to hold an angle, and as soon as you peek that angle, there's just a fucking fridge or vending machine there. They just have a lot of clutter around the map, and it makes it really hard to hold stuff since you can't actually hold doorways, you have to hold outside of doorways. They might clean up the map a little bit, but I think they're going to leave it as is. Overall, it's still a fairly fun map, and I think it has a lot of potential. It's just the clutter on the map makes it really, really hard to hold angles or push. And then we have some changes to the playlist, the newcomer playlist, which I have some qualms about, but I think will be overall helpful. This is essentially a playlist that is meant to teach new people the game. You can only play up to level 50 in it, and it's only on Bomb, and it only has these 3 maps, Bank, Consulate, and Chalet. So it teaches people the most popular game mode, which is Bomb, even though Secure Area is funner. Don't at me. And then teaches 3 basic maps that are in the ranked pool. Although I find it pretty funny that they put Chalet in there when it's not in the Pro League pool because they said it wasn't balanced, even though Chalet is my favorite map. But anyways, it's kind of a stepping stone to casual, which is then a stepping stone to ranked. The only thing that I really do not like about this playlist is that they made it up to level 50. And then they changed the ranked to only be a level 30 or above. So technically you could play ranked before you get kicked out of newcomer, which I think is kind of dumb, because you're going to get a lot of people on Smurf accounts just trolling the shit out of newcomers. But we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully that they remove, or I hope that they remove this requirement, or lower it rather, put it down to like 20 or 30 really. And they also listed some changes that they're making to the casual playlist. So we already talked about all of this with the newcomer playlist, and then the casual playlist is getting improved. It's basically supposed to be a good stepping stone, like I said, between newcomer and ranked. The big change is that the defenders are going to know which sites they're holding. So now you won't have to be like, okay, I'll go Mira and then get put on, I don't even know, Grow Room Favela. You won't have to worry about that anymore. And kind of in the same sense, but on the other side, attackers can now choose individual spawn points, so you're not all going to spawn together, which is a really big thing. And then action phase has been reduced to 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which is not the 3 minutes everyone was hoping for, but it's something. Because 4 minutes was, I can't even describe it. I get angry thinking about it. 4 minutes in casual was the worst thing in the world. Anyways, moving on. Hibana Elite set. I've never been more hyped for an Elite skin, because Hibana, one of my most played operators, and now she has an amazing Elite set. I'll show you guys the animation because I remember last time I showed an Elite skin in a patch notes, people got upset that I didn't show the animation. So here it is. So pretty fucking good. Gets a lot of nice skins for weapons. I'm mainly just excited for the white X-Kairos. They look so nice. Just looks clean, you know? And then here are the seasonal skins. Let's be honest here, there's only one seasonal skin. It's a Sharky Shark skin. It's so nice. I love it. And next up we have the Year 4 Season Pass, which if you haven't bought it already, is now actually going to have some purpose. You will be getting Big Ronda and Mozzie in the first week. You won't have to wait till the second week. And then if you already had the Year 3 Season Pass, you'll get 600 additional credits so you can buy elite skins like Hibana. So nice. And if you don't have a Year 4 Season Pass, stay tuned on the channel. I will be giving away a few Year 4 Ultimate editions of the game, which unfortunately I don't think you can add on to your account. I think you have to make a new account for, but still stay tuned. I think it'll be out within about a week of the new season. Moving on to operator balancing, we have a few changes. The biggest that a lot of people weren't too happy about. Ashe losing her ACOG on her R4C only. A lot of people were very upset about this, even though I think it's a step in the right direction. My personal opinion is that Ashe should lose her R4C and only have the G360 as her assault rifle. And then she should get the M1014 shotgun as her secondary weapon. or a second primary weapon. I know a lot of people really hate that idea, but if they nerf the R4C at all, it's basically going to be equivalent to the G36C, so might as well just go with the G36C and give her a shotgun. Legion's getting I guess a nerf. His damage from his goo mines is going down from 8 to 4, but he also gets a slight buff that they didn't really mention. He now has a really weird animation where when you're in, or when you have a goo on you, you kind of have this like warping on your screen, which is kind of resemblant of a yokai disorientation. So it's going to be really hard for you to hold anything when you're just having your screen get warped. So he's getting nerfed and buffed, basically netting even. Now Maverick has increased swap time between his torch and weapons, which I'm not a huge fan of, because the whole thing that Ubisoft said that was a good counter to Maverick was that you could shoot him in the head because he can't defend himself while he's blowtorching. Now he's going to be able to blowtorch and pull out his weapon before you can even realize it's there. So not a huge fan. Dokkaebi, this is probably the biggest change in the entire season, which I am so happy about. After 18 seconds, phone calls from Dokkaebi will hang up on their own. You do not have to hang it up if you're pinned down. You can just stay there and it'll eventually stop ringing. They did mention in the TTS that they'd reduced it to 12 seconds to test, but I'm assuming that was too short, so they just increased it back. And this is another huge thing, is that if you are within range of a mute jammer, you won't get called. However, if you are currently being called and then run into the range of a mute jammer, it'll hang it up automatically for you. So mute's going to be a decent pick now, especially against teams that generally go full cancer. So that's huge. And next we have Capitan, which I actually don't know for sure whether this is being implemented. They mentioned in one of the posts that Capitan was going to be kept the same way as he is now in Wind Bastion, but for some reason it's still in this patch notes. I'm assuming they just haven't taken it out. But if it does go through, here are the changes. His firebolts have an increased area effect size, and the damage is down from 19 to 12. But if I am not mistaken, he is staying the exact same way until a future patch. But just in case, there it is. And for Clash, they're removing the muzzle brake on her machine pistol, which is fine by me. Now, general tweaks, we normally don't go through too many of them, but I do want to talk about a few right before we get into the addendum. Breaching charges. So, animation is way faster now. It's like half the speed or even faster than that. Breaching charges also won't kill you if you just place them. So instead of doing 150 damage, they just do 50. So if you ever fuck up and accidentally blow it up too early, you'll take some damage, but you won't die at least. However, the damage area effect on the other side is increased, but then the lethal damage area effect on the defender side is reduced. So it'll do damage farther, but it won't kill people. It's going to be even harder now to kill people with a breach charge. They'll have to be even closer than before. Now, a nice big change is the crouch and lean spam is finally getting fixed. So instead of people being able to just QE and add C in there sometimes to just avoid all bullets, if you spam it too much, now your head, let's say for the QE, if you spam that too much, your head will just float in the middle. It's going to be very easy to kill you. And so far in the TTS, I really, really like it. People can't abuse it that much, especially with people like Blitz or Monty, where you could QE spam while aim down sight and your head just fucking flies, but you can aim super well. But they said they're going to monitor it, and if they don't like it, they'll revert it. So we'll see. And now, for player comfort, this is kind of a big one because some of you don't use it. Advanced gadget deployment is now on by default. So what this means is, basically, if you have standard gadget deployment, let's say you're putting a thermite charge on a wall, and then you see it get bandited, if you let go of the button, it'll still keep going on standard gadget deployment. So you can't cancel putting down a gadget. Whereas on advanced gadget deployment, you can. So it'll help everyone learn about bandit tricking and stuff like that a lot easier. Instead of being like, oh, I have no way to counter this at all, I'm just fucked. People will actually have a chance now. And then we have a few more things in game health and some playlist changes. So, shield operator rotation has been kind of outed as a huge problem, which basically means that whatever the shield sees on their screen is different than what you see on your screen. So they could be looking right at you, but on your screen they're looking off to the side. That's a huge issue for shield players, as it is very hard for them to stay alive when you can easily shoot them in the side of the head, even though it shouldn't be exposed. They had a fix for it, but it made a lot of issues where if, say, you were lying down and you turned just a tiny bit, you would make full noise, like as if you were walking. So they're going to experiment and see what they can do to fix that, but I really hope that a change comes out soon because shield operators are in a bad spot right now on anything other than LAN. And now we have MMR rollback, which is pretty good because this was actually a huge issue I had with Copper to Diamond this season. I faced like 4 or 5 hackers, I think, and obviously lost every single match with them, so now this change will make it so I won't be as affected by it. And basically what it does is, if say in the season you reached all-time high of 3600 MMR, right? And then you had a few matches with hackers, and halfway through the season you end up at about 3400. Once those hackers have been banned, you'll get that MMR back that you lost. You can't go above your all-time high, so say if you went up against 10 hackers and got 40 elo each, that's 400 elo, and you're at 3400, you're not going to go up to 3800 since the highest reach was 3600, you'll just go up to 3600. So you won't be able to get all of a sudden boosted like into diamond just because you had a lot of hackers in the low ranks, but it will make it a lot easier for you to regain that elo that you lost, and is something that I'm excited for. The only concern that I have is the fact that hackers tend to not get banned for about a month. So on accounts like Copper Diamond, I'll probably already be past my all-time high rank and won't really get anything back from hackers getting banned, but it's a nice safety net. And then now we have really, I guess, no changes to the playlist for the map pools, but wanted to mention it. Outback is getting added to ranked. For some reason, Fortress is not being removed. I don't know why, but it's still there. And then Casual still has all of the ranked maps plus all of these. And then we have a ton of bug fixes. Actually, not that many compared to normal, but still more than I want to read through. So if you want to read through them, patch notes is in the description. You can go look at them. But we'll quickly look at the addendum, because there are one or two important things there that I want to talk about. Well, this has already been covered, but next line. HP after being revived from a down but not out state reduced from 50 to 20 in PvP, and then 15 for Terrorist Hunt for the 5 people who play it. This is a pretty big deal. That means the resetting meta is no longer a thing. Unless you're literally at 1 HP and you have like 2 minutes to spare, there's really never a reason to reset someone. Which is, I think overall it's a pretty good thing, because Ubisoft themselves even mentioned that the resetting meta was never meant to be a thing. It was always supposed to be... It was never seen as an issue when they were testing it and people just found a way to exploit it. And this is their way of finally fixing it. And it's nice that if you actually ever get someone down to low health, the likelihood is that they'll stay at that low health. The only ever time to be downed after this will be just if you get downed. You'll never want to intentionally down yourself in order to get picked back up. This is also a pretty big boost to Doc, because he's going to be the only person who can actually heal above the 20. He can still stim pistol you and you'll still be 75. So Doc stim pistoling people back up is going to be a huge deal. So yeah, I'm super happy about this change, although I know a lot of other people are not. And then the last addendum, hollow sight color is determined by the base skin of the weapon it is equipped on, which means hollow sights are now black instead of that tan color, which I never really had a big issue with, but it looks so much nicer now that it's all black. So that's a pretty nice change for hollow sight players like me. And that is everything for Year 4 Season 1 Operation Burnt Horizon. And I'll be making a lot of videos on Big Ronda and Mozzie as the week unfolds. And I did mention that I'll be having that Year 4 Ultimate Edition giveaway sometime this week. I'll also be having a Displate giveaway sometime this week, which, if you don't know, Displates are those metal posters that hang behind me. I'll be giving away a few Operation Burnt Horizon ones as well. More information on that tomorrow in the placement highlight video. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy Burnt Horizon. I am so excited for it. Cannot wait to get started. See you guys later.